Hey everyone. Are you ready to dive into what the stock market might have in store for 2025? I know the market's been all over the place lately, but don't worry, today, we're going to break down the biggest trends, predictions, and what you should expect in the year ahead. So if you're wondering where the market's headed, stick around. Okay, first up, let's talk about where we are right now. The stock market in 2024 has had its ups and downs, right? We've seen a bit of a recovery after the chaos from the pandemic years, but there's still a lot of uncertainty. Interest rates have been higher than usual, inflation's been creeping up in certain parts of the world, and we've seen a lot of volatility in sectors like tech, energy, and even crypto. It's a lot to keep track of, and it can feel a little overwhelming. But despite all the uncertainty, there's still money to be made. If you pick the right stocks and sectors, you can still score some solid returns. So what's going to happen in 2025? Let's get into some predictions. So first off, let's talk about tech. I know, tech has been dominating for years now, but it's not slowing down anytime soon. One thing we're going to see more of in 2025 is AI. Yep, artificial intelligence is going to keep shaking up the market, and it's not just about the big players like Google and Amazon. Smaller companies that are using AI in innovative ways will see massive growth. AI will continue to be a game changer, whether it's automating processes, improving stock trading, or even predicting the market itself. Now, let's be clear, this isn't just about the flashy stuff we see in the news. Sure, AI in things like robotics and self-driving cars is exciting, but we're also going to see huge improvements in sectors like finance, healthcare, and manufacturing, where AI can make a massive impact on efficiency. It's going to be a big deal, and I'm telling you, if you're looking to invest in tech, you'll want to keep your eyes on AI-driven companies. They're going to be at the forefront of this next wave of growth. It's not just about cool gadgets, it's about businesses using AI to drive efficiency and create new opportunities. Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that's been on everyone's radar for a while: renewable energy. This is another sector that's going to keep heating up in 2025. With climate change becoming more urgent every year, the world is pushing harder for clean energy solutions. We're talking solar, wind, battery storage, all that good stuff. This isn't just about saving the planet, it's also about big money opportunities. Governments are doubling down on sustainability, so companies that are leading the way in renewable energy are going to benefit. I'm talking about major global players that are building large-scale solar farms or wind turbines, but also the smaller, innovative companies that are focusing on things like battery technology or smart grids to make energy use more efficient. In fact, 2025 could be the year we see a real boom in green investments. If you're looking to get in on that, clean energy stocks are a strong bet. Now, let's get into something that's been on everyone's mind recently: interest rates. The Federal Reserve has been hiking them, and it's made borrowing a lot more expensive. So what does that mean for 2025? Well, we're going to see some pressure on growth stocks, particularly in tech. When interest rates are high, it costs more for companies to borrow money, and that can eat into their profits. Does that mean you should avoid growth stocks altogether? Not necessarily. But it does mean you'll want to be more selective. Growth companies that are still in the early stages, relying on borrowing to fund their expansion, could struggle. On the flip side, value stocks might actually benefit. These are companies that are already established and don't rely on taking on debt to grow. Think companies in industries like consumer staples, healthcare, and utilities. They can handle the higher borrowing costs better and tend to be more stable during tough economic times. So if you're thinking about what to buy in 2025, these types of stocks might look pretty appealing. Here's another trend that's been growing and will definitely continue into 2025: retail investors. If you've been following the market lately, you've seen how powerful retail traders have become. Thanks to apps like Robinhood and Webull, it's easier than ever for regular people to jump into the stock market. Retail investors have been making waves in sectors like meme stocks and even influencing larger market movements. And this trend isn't going anywhere. In fact, 2025 might see even more influence from everyday investors on stock prices. If you're a retail investor, just remember, it's all about staying informed. Don't get swept up in the hype, make sure you're doing your own research. And don't forget, the market isn't just about jumping in on the latest trend. Focus on building a strong portfolio over time. Now, let's zoom out a little and think about the bigger picture. The stock market doesn't just depend on what's happening in the US, we've got to consider global markets too. Economic conditions in China, Europe, and other regions are going to play a huge role in how stocks perform next year. Global politics is always a huge factor. If there are major tensions between the US and China, or issues with trade deals in Europe, that could lead to market volatility. The good news is, markets are often resilient. If economies around the world are performing well, expect stock prices to reflect that in a positive way. But global events are always unpredictable, so keep an eye on news coming from around the globe. You don't want to be caught off guard. Alright, so now that we've covered the big trends, let's talk about how you can actually take advantage of them in 2025. First off, diversification is going to be key. Don't put all your money into one sector or type of stock. Mix it up. Invest in tech, clean energy, healthcare, maybe some bonds, and even real estate if that fits your goals. The more diverse your portfolio, the better you'll be positioned to weather any storms that come along. Second, keep yourself updated. The market changes fast, especially with all the new developments in AI and renewable energy. If you want to stay ahead of the game, make sure you're following industry news and keeping up with key players in the sectors you're interested in. News outlets, financial podcasts, YouTube channels, you name it. Stay informed, and make smarter choices. And finally, don't panic. I know the market's been volatile, but that's just part of the game. The key is to stay focused on your long-term goals. Whether we see a market correction or things keep pushing upward, the most important thing is to stick with your plan. Don't let emotions drive your decisions, slow and steady wins the race. So, what do you think? Do you agree with these predictions for 2025? Or do you think the market's going to take a totally different turn? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our future videos. Catch you in the next one.